Defense's cross-examination of Michael Cohen is back underway. Let's bring in trial attorney Mercedes Colwin. Todd Blanche is exploring some interesting ground right now, and that is secret recordings that Michael Cohen had on his phone. According to our Carrie Kupek, Cohen has testified that he had about 100 secret recordings on his phone. About 40 of them were with journalists. One of them was with the former president of the United States. We don't know what the other ones were, but I'm not quite sure what he's getting at here. I mean, legally speaking, if you're in New York, which is a one-party consent state, but you're recording somebody who's in California, which is a two-party state, the stricter law is the superseding law. So potentially there's an infringement on the law there. But what do you think the bigger picture is here?
Great to be on with you, John and Sandra, as always. It really is about giving the jury the perspective that Michael Cohen is untrustworthy. It's cringeworthy for jurors, even though you're absolutely right. If it's a one-party state, there's no laws that have been broken. But it's cringeworthy for jurors to sit there who are trying to determine his credibility, that he has so many recordings in which, when it's a one-party state, you know you don't have to disclose it to the participant in the call that you're actually recording them. So it is, personally, when this comes up in cases that I've handled, it is something that, especially if it's of the opposing side, you can certainly put your arms around it and almost jump up and down in glee, because this is something that can be used against the opposing side.
Mercedes, let me get your reaction to this. Cohen would communicate, he said in this courtroom just now, with reporters via text, signal, and other encrypted apps. Cohen decided what communication to use depending on the topic that he was discussing with the particular reporter, saying if it was a private or unusual conversation, I'd go to one of the encrypted apps. To John's point, and what Carrie was highlighting a moment ago, there were a total of 95 total recordings on his phone. He'd record Trump and reporters. Cohen says he understands that it's not ethical for a lawyer to record their client, but he noted that there is a, quote, crime fraud exemption rule. Blanche then said, but didn't you just record Trump to show to Pecker? Not the crime fraud exemption rule. Cohen answers saying yes, but you asked me if there are any exceptions. Your response to that, Mercedes?
Well, that's a great Q&A. Think about the two lawyers that are on that jury. They know how inappropriate, generally speaking, it is to record your clients without them knowing that they're being recorded. That is something that, because we're fiduciaries, we have this higher duty to our clients. You don't generally typically record your client. If you believe that your client's about to commit a crime, then, of course, you can set aside the attorney-client privilege. Then you have to notify the authorities. There's a whole body of law that talks about that. But the good thing about that Q&A between Todd Blanche and Michael Cohen is that there seems to be an inconsistency, and wherever you have an inconsistency with a witness that you are attacking their credibility, it has to be highlighted before the jury, and that's exactly what Todd Blanche did.
All right, so Blanche is trying to paint a picture of a guy here who literally cannot be trusted. And then there's this idea, too, of has he lied on the stand? And there's a lot of people who believe that Cohen wasn't truthful when he said that he made the recording of Trump to show David Pecker. Because why would he need to show that to David Pecker? Some people think it was for his own purposes. And then there's this idea, the phone call with the chief of security, Keith Schiller, which Cohen said was about Stormy Daniels, but Blanche is now saying, or eliciting from Cohen, that it was about a 14-year-old prank caller. Does this go to the potential instruction from the judge that if the jury believes that Cohen has lied about anything on the stand, they can discount the entirety of his testimony?
There is a perfect jury instruction that I use in every single trial. Falsus in numum, falsus in pluribus. Basically, false in one, false in everything. If the jury, and this will be an instruction, we'll have to see if the judge allows this instruction, but generally speaking, it is allowed. If the jury believes that Michael Cohen has lied under oath during this trial, they can discount his entire testimony. Now, that's obviously that is very broad and sweeping. We'll have to see what the judge decides about that jury instruction in particular. But you see that jury instruction just about all trials.
A lot more to come this afternoon. Mercedes, thanks so much. We'll be right back.